my research were. It is almost 50% complete. The only Olympic standard swimming pool in Kenya apart from Kasarani. It is in Kilifi County kupitia kwa sadaka ya hao washirika. Ili siku nyingine mkialika international schools as a government na mnataka facility nyingine, there is a church ambayo imesaidia serikali kutengeneza facility kama hiyo. Badala ya kutangaza vile tumetangaza, we renovate Kasarani ili tulete Africa Cup of Nations. Unaweza kupeleka international schools huko na wakafanya swimming competition Kasarani, na ukapeleka nyingine Kilifi County ama Coast, na hizo pesa ambazo zinaingia kupitia kwa competitors and those who are visited, si zinaingia kwa county government or visitors and whatever. We have one of the most modern labs, IT labs, ambazo nafikiria, sababu mimi nimesomea tu. Tuko na labs ambazo huenda haziko kwa university yetu, and I would advise you with humility to come and visit them and verify what I'm saying. We did this na pesa za washirika. Among other things, we have one of the best hotels. Among other things, ili apart from church, the government, the nation and the county inaweza kubenefit kwa hizi vitu ambavyo tunafanya. Isiwe thank you so much. Isiwe ni pesa ya sadaka imeenda kwa pastor peke yake. Hakuna any document ya title deed imeandikwa kwa jina la Pastor Ezekiel. Apart from maybe 2 or 3 vehicles tumejaribu kuziweka kwa jina la church, wakaniambia hiyo terminology sijui, labda Sami anajua. Uliniambia ni nini hiyo ambayo inakataa? Teams account inakataa. Sina gari langu mimi, sina nyumba yangu, hata hii saa receipt yake ni New Life. Hata ile nguo nyingine ambayo unajua nimevaa, si unaijua? Receipt yake ni New Life. Ili nihubiri injili, sadaka ya mshirika itumike kwa njia nzuri. Nikimaliza niende zangu. I never came to use church money for personal benefit. I have informed my wife and my children, nobody will benefit from church money. Nimeanzisha kufuga kuku. Niliambia mke wangu tangu last week, pesa za kuku, pesa za mayai, pesa za whatever, zisomeshe watoto wetu. We have 3. Hakuna haja ya kutumia pesa za kanisa. We have only 3. So that is how we have spent money, and that is zingine ukiniuliza nitakumbusha. We have a dam, the only dam ambayo iko Kilifi County na ni kubwa. Hii dam is a 9.5 acre dam. It is full. It is well built na imelindwa, imezingirwa na fence. Ili wakati wa drought, wakati community imekosa maji, tunaweza tukafungua waje wachukue maji. Vile ambavyo tunasomesha watoto wa Kilifi, over 200 students, full scholarship secondary. Yule mama wa Kilifi atatoa maji wapi? Na maybe county government ili allocate money na haijaijenga. Drought haipigi ripoti. So as a church tumetengeneza hizo zote. Tunafanya farming, tumeajiri watu wa Kilifi County. Everything ambao zingine mkinikumbusha mimi nitayasema. Number 7, your view on regulation, my view on regulation of religious organization, including gaps in the law and regulation of religious institutions, and before that end, kanisa limekuwako miaka mingi. Misikiti, temples, hatujawahi pitia mambo kama haya na hatujawahi ona. And as a religious leader, if I be granted that opportunity to refer to myself, hii kitu haingewaifanyika. But maybe 3 or 4 people or 1 or 2 wamekosea na wamefanya grave mistake, ama amefanya grave mistake, huyu mtu ama hawa watu wachunguzwe, wapelekwe huko, wawe prosecuted. If any case we amend or we constitute a law because of one Ezekiel, and we give him the picture of the church, Your Honor, in 60 or 70 years' time, I won't be there. I will be a very old man from now. And we institute a law that gags na imeumiza the church, tutaumiza the future ministries. Njia ambao nafikiria ingefanyika, I don't know because I'm not a lawyer. They may speak on my behalf. Ikiwa kuna enough room ya kuisolate na kujua huyu mtu amekosea, apeleke kule kotini, awe prosecuted, then the government plus the church wakae chini, what can we do ili tufunike gaps ambazo zinasababisha vitu kama hizi? It is the best way, but let us shun any formula ambayo itasababisha kanisa la Kenya likae dwarf and dead because ya makosa ya maybe Ezekiel or Mwangi or Maina for the future generation. Kama sio hawa wazazi wetu kupewa room ya kuhubiri, singeliokoka. Nilikuwa mzinzi kuanzia class 7. Unajua class 7 ni mtoto aina gani? Mpaka form 4. Alihubiri 2000, nikaokoka when I was sick. Nikaoa mke bikra wakati ambapo mimi nilikuwa bomb blast. Bomb blast in terms of mzinzi tu. Asingepewa ruhusa ya kuhubiri vile nilizuiliwa juzi, hakuna singeokoka. Yona juzi tumepanga Crusade Kilifi, tuka advertise NTV, KTN, you know the cost. Our church channel, tukaenda tukatengeneza flyers, we printed t-shirts in terms of millions. We presented a letter of request to be permitted to conduct crusade. The OCS went to the OCPD, the OCPD to the county commandant, county commandant to regional commandant, through our lawyers, is one of them. They said, I think the letter is here, nitaitafuta tu. Akasema, because mumetupa a very short period of time, 72 hours, na wewe crusade zako huwa zinabeba zaidi ya 70,000 people, please give us more time. I think it is here. This is the original. Kwa hivyo sitakupatia, wasije wakanitafuta baadaye waseme ilete na nilikuachia. So photocopy. Najua wakijua tu wacha. So wakatuambia, inasema, we were unable to issue you with a permit due to the fact that the notice issued was too short. That was the fact. Too short for our preparations and action, considering the large number of people anticipated to attend, that is 70,000 in number. We were unable to make the necessary security arrangements to facilitate a smooth event. Thus, we are advising you to plan and hold the same event from 4th October. Remember, the request was 23rd of September. 4th October. Hivyo tumesuspend ibada zetu zote, tunaenda crusade, na unaambiwa on Saturday, kwamba unaambiwa on Tuesday kesho uende crusade, na umeitangaza kwa TV. Hiyo tukaachana nayo, tukafuata hii. Wakaturuhusu mpaka a day to that day tulikuwa na wao. I visited the county commissioner in person. He promised me they are going to provide security in person. He invited me. Then the county commandant promised that. Tulipeana chakula worth more than 3 million, if I'm not wrong. Maybe I can be corrected. Tukichanganya pamoja na cost, transport and whatever. Day 1 tukafanya crusade. Day 2 nikaambiwa, pastor, simu imetoka juu kutoka kwa president na CS, cabinet secretary wa internal security. They have been monitoring you.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes.
I would like to intervene on that because if the witness cannot substantiate a presidential call and a cabinet minister's call, then he needs to withdraw.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes,
Madam Vice Chair, since this is an inquiry, the pastor is allowed by law and the standing orders of this House for him to reveal that information. If the minister feels he can come and defend himself, then he can come and do it.
Okay, yes.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, David, you are calling. David, let David have the floor. I give
Okay, sorry.
Thank you for Chairman for allowing a friend of the committee to hold his horses. What I want to say through the chair, Evangelist Ezekiel must be able to put it bare and raw as it is. So that we don't have a country run through phone calls. When a letter is written to the police of an intended meeting, a response should be written to Ezekiel through writing. If the meeting is cancelled by phone call, they have to put it in writing. And that is why his explanation is valid. It is upon this committee, if need be, now to invite those who are misusing the tools of power to gag the freedom of worship and intimidate the men of God, equally to put it bare. Probably if it were a security threat, if it was radicalism, they must put it here so that as we write our report based on the assignment given by Senate, we must defend our space. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Senator Chararuge, then I'll give you
Chair.
Senator.
All of us are members of Senate. I don't know what is wrong, but anyway, that's a story for another day. Chair, mine, if you look at the Constitution, the decisions of the President should be in writing. So dragging the name of the President is unfair because this is where we move from the previous. So my advice maybe to the witness is if there any written feedback from the people who denied him to all that crusade, he can table before the committee. Number one, or he uses allegedly or niliambiwa, so that for benefit of all of us, because we are trying to establish what really happened. And we know many people would say so and so has called me. Even you as a chair, you can say the speaker has called me. But as my brother Senator Wakoli has said, it should be in writing. If it is something that was said, let us treat it as gossip and deal with the facts as is, so that we protect the integrity of some of the offices. And you know we are live. So we don't want somebody else to be misbehaving and saying the president has called or chairman has called or senator so and called. So it is important that let us avoid throwing around. Let us avoid throwing around.
Allow Senator to finish.
Just, can I finish? Can I finish?
Allow him to finish.
So that you don't allow throwing of names. It is not even NITA, Chair. So I beg you to take charge of the meeting and direct that the witness withdraws the drawing in of the names of the president. And if there is written that the county commissioner wrote back and told him the president has called and the CS has called, then we can take that and invite relevant agencies.
Chair, can I come in, please?
I wanted us to, Senator, I wanted us to give everyone an opportunity, and Senator at the back there, Senator Senior, just say, and then we go to Eddie, and then we go to you.
Chair, I think the presentation by the witness was flowing.
Yes.
And flowing very well.
Yes.
And as a legal mind, it is only when it appears prejudicial to this committee that we can intervene.
Yes.
I think he was giving a narration of the sequence of events, what happened, and so on.
Yes.
And Chair, let us be careful as a committee so that we don't gag also the witness
Yes.
in his presentation.
Yes.
If he can make that comment without necessarily putting it in a manner
Yes.
that will actually is prejudicial
Yes.
to an office or to somebody,
Yes.
to me it will be okay. And Chair, this investigation will not be complete minus a whole chapter
Yes.
by this witness here. So as our chair, I think we need to balance
Yes.
between the adding of value to our investigations and the rules and the procedures that we apply in the House.
Yes.
So I think that as long as we are within the framework of our mandate, I think it is still in order, Chair.
Senator Eddie and then Senator Senior there. Yes, Senator.
Chair, I just wanted to seek your guidance.
Yes.
Under Standing Order number 200.
Standing Order 200.
Yes. You know,
just read it out, maybe, or
yes,
just,
yes. It's just about our tradition of the composition of our committees, the
Yes.
select committees.
Yes.
And we do know that we have had these select committees, created in Parliament, in the House, and with very clear composition and mandate sometimes.
Yes.
And I know that this committee has got a responsibility to report to the House.
Yes.
On the basis of these findings.
Correct.
Now, I do also understand that the standing orders allow for friends of the committees, especially senators, to be able to participate in these proceedings.
Yes.
But I am just seeking your indulgence as a chair that in an event where we have got sometimes as many as friends of the committee that might come,
Yes.
will it be prohibitive to the work of the committee so that we don't open up more debates so that the effect of the committee can be attained such that is there a limitation
Yes.
to what the friends of the committee can be able to engage in? Because I'm just seeing a situation whereby if this seems like a very serious issue that has got a lot of interest, and we might have a lot of friends of the committee. So as a chair, you can guide, and my intention is not to limit the participation of those members,
Yes.
but to allow the committee to actually do its work effectively. So you can help us or guide on balance. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Senator.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to come back to what is the purpose of this committee, Chair? The purpose of this committee, Chair, is to go down deep into the roots of the issues that have been raised pertaining to the events which are religious, whether Shakahola or anywhere, and particularly we are discussing who really this man is. I would plead with my colleagues, and Chair, defend me.
Please, Honorable
Senator
members,
Eddie, please, I want the Chair to protect me.
Please, let the Senator be heard inside.
Thank you. I would like to mention to my colleagues, they don't have to sanitize anybody in this committee because there is nothing adverse that
the witness
has actually said. He is reporting what he had.
transpired.
Whether that information is for the committee to seek and inquire and ask whoever that has been mentioned, whether adversely or otherwise, except the President.
Yes.
I think it is important for that information to go to the record. What happens after he has finished his testimony is for this committee to sit and then make a decision whether there is a necessity for us to summon anybody else to come and clear their names. Otherwise, Chair, this would just be a sanitization exercise which has got no value, and I wouldn't want to participate in such an exercise.
Yes, Senator Hamida, you also have the mic.
Yeah, Chair, until now,
Yes.
let's proceed, and I don't see anything wrong for what Pastor Ezekiel has said so far. And maybe it's also another opportunity, maybe for others to know that people have been using the President's name. So this is he wants to let it be open and very clear. Let him speak his heart out. I mean, that's what he came to do. So we need to understand, and I think what Senator Onyonka has said, we are the ones at least who are able to actually decide which information to pick and which one to leave. Asante.
Okay, before I give guidance, let me recognize a member of the National Assembly. Mheshimiwa, just put your name on record. You're also our friend.
Good afternoon. My name is Honorable Poro Aburi, Member of Parliament Tigania East. I'm a friend of this committee.
Thank you very much.
Just a moment.
Yes.
Sababu yangu ya kuja hapa, nimeona kwa TV ya kwamba mkendeleni mambo.
Yes.
Nikamwona clip opeta pale, ilimpa 1.5 million, akablock simu yangu. Clip opeta. Na hapa mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu.
So
kutoka siku nimepatia pesa pale Equity Bank.
Okay, that is
na natoka na nje.
So I think that is beyond the mandate of this committee. I think this is beyond the mandate of this committee. So can I give guidance on the issue at hand? Order, members.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Yes. Chairman, can I allow Senator Kalwale, because he hasn't spoken to this matter? Yes, Senator and our government whip.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, Senator Kalwale, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, as the chairman of this committee,
yes,
you also enjoy the powers of the Speaker
absolutely
of the House
yes,
to run this committee.
Absolutely.
The Speaker, if he finds that a member is out of order,
yes,
he has the power to order the member to exit
yes,
chamber. You have seen the contribution of the Member of Parliament, who is not even a member of the Senate.
Correct.
Is completely out of order.
Yes.
I request that he be escorted out of the chamber so that we can proceed with this very important.
Okay, let me just give guidance on the two issues at hand.
But Chair, I thought.
Sorry. Yeah, you had requested. Yeah, you had requested.
Chair, I had said earlier that this is a very serious session, and
yes.
And what has been raised by my neighbor here, is an issue, Chair, which should not be part of the proceedings.
Yes.
And I think you need in your ruling or your guidance to ensure that what is being discussed is not part of our record.
Yes.
Those are matters, Mr. Speaker, in my view,
yes,
as he rightly said, will be dealt with it outside this House.
Yes.
And I think you need to give the direction so that any engagement will be done by those parties outside this environment. Because, Mr. Chair, we are losing on time.
Yes.
We are losing on the flow of the witness. And yet, Mr. Speaker, we are dealing with a very, serious matter that you already giving directions. So I think it should not be part of our record.
Okay. So there are two issues on the table. Can I ask the table to be cleared? Hassan, can you take your seat? There are two issues that we need to give directions on. The first one is whether the witness is proceeding properly, even on the mention of the name of the president and the minister or whoever else. On that issue, I want to guide that the witness will not be gagged. The witness should proceed to explain things because we have gathered here so that we can get the facts as they are. So that is the direction we will guide. On the issue of Honorable Aburi, please, I think you know you are out of order. You are absolutely out of order, and that is really not parliamentary. And our prayer is that you will deal with those matters in a way that befits a member of parliament outside, not within here. So guided, and I direct that Sergeant at
Point of order,
Arms.
Mr. Chairman.
Wait, I finish.
Yeah.
Sergeant at Arms, you watch so that you maintain order, so that we don't have issues. The issue that Mheshimiwa has mentioned can be dealt with outside. Senior, your point of order.
Mr. Speaker, proceedings of this committee
Yes.
can be attended
Yes.
by anybody, including members of the public.
Absolutely.
And therefore,
Yes.
the member of the National Assembly is
Yes.
free to attend.
No, we have not asked him to come out. We've asked that he deals with the matters
Mr.
outside.
Speaker, can you hear me?
Yes, let me hear you.
You can be heard.
Yes.
But a member of either house
Yes.
cannot address the other house.
Yes.
So, it is out of order for Honorable Mpuri to address the Senate.
It's out of order.
Yes.
I understand that, and we have requested
Speaker,
him.
could you then rule that all the utterances he made
Yes.
be expunged from the record of the House?
Hansard, can you capture this? I saw direct that all the utterances by his honorable member for Digania West, was it? East, be expunged from the record. Okay, let's make progress.
Chair,
Yes.
utterances and actions. They are repugnant and parliamentary. They must all be expunged.
How can you expunge a movement?
If it has been captured by video, everything related to the honorable member.
Okay.
Thank you.
So ordered. Hansard, so ordered. Can we continue now? Let's make progress, honorable members. We have not started, interacting. I think you are about to finish, Evangelist. So just proceed. You are at the point that you got a phone call.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Chair, for granting me this permission. A point of correction to anybody who misunderstood what I said. I said when I asked, because from the altar during the crusade, when I stepped down, I was told by the OCPD, you are being, it's not written, you are being monitored at Jogo House. Yes. So there are things that have happened,
yes,
and you are not allowed to proceed with the crusade.
So that is in day 2?
Yes, that was day 2.
So did you hold the whole thing, or it happened the night before the crusade?
As a law-abiding citizen, you have to cancel, because this is a police officer who is mandated to grant you a letter of permission or to cancel it. So I told them, I think if I don't receive the letter, I will proceed with the crusade tomorrow.
Okay. So they were speaking.
I mean, day 1, I'm in the car. Okay. And they told me that is the reason, and you are supposed to switch the TV off.
Okay.
Through the chair, would you repeat and give us the OCPD in terms of which OCPD, which station was it?
Kilifi.
Okay, just
because I was in Kilifi. Then I sent my lawyers.
Yes.
Point
because
of order,
the following
Chair.
day.
Point of order.
Point of order. Pastor Ezekiel, please mention the name in full of that OCPD, because it's important for the record.
OCPD Kilifi. Minor, I can remember the name Minor.
That's okay if he just gives the title. We'll find it.
Because I think
just continue, make progress.
Thank you, sir. Then I said, okay, I'm going to abide by that.
Yes.
The following day, because I will repeat something that honorable members have said.
Yes.
There are people who misuse those who are their seniors. They misuse their names.
Yes.
when they want to do something to somebody.
Yes.
And I really respect my president, His Excellency,
Yes.
and the presidency.
Yes.
Because anyone who does not respect the leader does not deserve to be a leader.
Yes.
So immediately I heard this, and when I sent the lawyer, and he was told that, and upon further investigation, it was not so. The president was nowhere in that phone, not even the CS. That's why they interjected me before I completed.
Yes.
And I said, why should they mention the president and misuse the presidency?
Yes.
This is the highest office in the land.
Yes.
When you want to do something to somebody, don't do such a thing to tarnish the name of the person elected by millions of people.
Yes.
And maybe another person tomorrow might face the same challenges and be told it is the honorable chair that has made this decision while you are not even aware.
Yes.
And to make matters worse, the following day, before I woke up, 2 OCPDs were in my compound.
Yes.
Where I sleep.
Yeah.
With a letter that because of security reasons, the crusade has been cancelled.
Yes.
What transpired, even to date, never disclosed.
Yes.
But I remember when the OCPD was talking to me 3 days later, even our instruments are still on the ground to now, this time. And we are still paying for the ground because we are requesting for the permission for the crusade. Only that. He asked me before the end of last week, haven't you spoken to wakubwa ili tukupe ruhusa?
Yes.
Then I asked myself, so it is not security reasons. It is wakubwa. And upon asking him, he told me, Pastor, there is nothing to do with the president and the CS.
Yes.
And I felt pain that it should never go that line, and we should never tarnish the presidency and the cabinet secretariat.
Yes.
The road to Kilifi was blocked specifically for me not to enter Kilifi. Every vehicle was being searched. Day 2. When I went there, the OCPD told me, Pastor, I am under command. Turn back and go back to your house. He came with his vehicle, and I was with my wife. And he told me, Pastor, even when I'm being captured, itaniletea shida. I went back home. Nikamwambia, nilikuwa naenda ili wale wageni kutoka sehemu zingine hawajui kanisani, niangalie ni wangapi, nitumane buses, ibebe hawa watu, ilete kanisani, wasilale huko nje. Kabla nikitoka ninaambiwa kuna watu wako uwanjani na wanapigwa na polisi. Wanapigwa na polisi wasiende kusikiza injili because of security reasons. But later on the OCPD allowed one of our buses kuenda kuchukua watu na ikawachukua mpaka wakaja kanisani. Ninasema hivi kwa sababu vitu vingine vilifanyika honorable chair ambayo ilinishangaza. Tulipata barua mwezi wa 4 ama wa 5 to show cause why our church should not be deregistered, kwa sababu hatukuwa tumefile return.
Yes.
Was it true? Yes, we had not filed the returns. Why, Pastor? Please, I told you I will never hide anything. I forgot about those things and never followed up. It was my mistake.
Yes.
Then I said, let me send the lawyers, waende, file return, na kama kuna charges, we are willing to pay.
Yes.
File yetu ilipotea kwa registrar offices. Na ikapotea for 3 months. Tukienda haiko. Tulienda kotini. Then the registrar akasema, it was a verbal request. withdraw the case, then we will produce the file. Then I told them, that is simple. Sababu aliuliza, kwa nini nipeane file na umetushtaki? Nikamwambia, okay, toa kesi.
Yes.
Wakati tunauliza, akasema ako kwenye kamati ambayo imechaguliwa na rais. So akimaliza kuzunguka wakichunguza the Shakahola Massacre, yes, wataenda kutufungulia file iko.
Yes.
Ghafla ninaona kwa media New Life and other ministries have been deregistered.
Yes.
Tulizunguka tukipata nafasi hatukupewa. Na inakuwa deregistered exactly 90 days. Kumbe ilikuwa deregistered, it was backdated to May. Now inakuwa deregistered 90 days later.
Yes.
Constitutionally, according to the advice I was given by the lawyers, a duration of 90 days, you can go to the Attorney General's office to appeal.
Yes.
So there was no room for appeal.
Yes.
The only option was to go to court.
Yes.
I ask with humility, if the office of the registrar, Ambo is the custodian of our certificates of societies, iko na uwezo wa kuficha file ya mtu unconstitutionally na iseme haiko, only wakati anataka kuideregister iko na the window for appeal has expired. Wangapi na makanisa mangapi watafanyiwa hivi na misikiti mingapi? Was she acting on someone's advice or command? What wrong did I do ambayo ilikuwa inaninyima mimi kuenda kusema I'm willing to comply, if there is any penalty I will give, na kama kuna kosa nimefanya it is just return of files, kama hakuna kitu kingine please allow me to, kama kuna kosa nyingine niambie. Nani na wangapi ambao makanisa yao na society zao zitakuwa deregistered? Whose authority was she acting under? Sababu hizo ndio zinasababisha unasikia mtu umeambiwa hivi and ile information inakuwa covered kwa media, it is not verified by us. Tuende kotini. Mpaka leo bado tunazunguka. Unafanya crusade, inaweza kusimamishwa anytime. We have crusades Kenya hii all over. Hata wiki hiyo kulikuwa na crusade Bombolulu. Na mhubiri kutoka ng'ambo. Saa hiyo kulikuwa na crusade hapo kando. It was a small crusade. Na naheshimu huyo mchungaji ambaye alikuwa anafanya mkutano. We have crusades hapa. Ya Ezekiel ambao umemuomba more than 14 days ili akupe nafasi to assemble security apparatus ili ukaweze kumsaidia na security, and we were ready to pay for their expenses and for anything, inakuwa cancelled hivi. How many people are going to undergo all this persecution? Na nina repeat, they confirmed akukuwa na instruction kutoka kwa CS and the presidency. Mpaka leo hii nauliza, why should we use this formula? Sababu akipeana verbally, who will complain? Then the following day, 2 OCPDs. I don't have any arm. I don't have anything to protect myself. Because washawahi kuja hivyo wakanibeba wakanipeleka region, niliogopa kushuka. In fact, my wife was crying. Akaniuliza, mume wangu, what have you done where ambao uenda hujaniambia you go through this? Je, kuna siku hata moja mimi kama mke wako nitapata peace na hawa watoto? How long? Maaskari watakuja hivi. My spiritual father asked me some 3 days back, is your wife okay? Because I know what she has gone through. Nikamwambia, I thank God she's sleeping. And I decided 2 days back never to divulge anything to her about what I'm going through. Because even my parents, niliogopa huyu mwanamke anaweza kuwa, mke wangu anaweza kuwa depressed, ama anaweza kuwa something mentally challenged. Nilimwambia, I will never tell you anything. This is too much for you and my children. And that is the reason why I've mentioned these things. Sababu ningekuja nikuambie sikuambiwa hayo mambo, ningekuwa muongo number one. Na nilisema I will pour my heart out, ili mtu asidanganye na jina lako na jina la yule na jina la our fathers here in leadership. And finally, any other relevant information and documentation in your possession pertaining to the mandate of the committee. I've not inquired either from them or anybody the mandate of the committee. Ombi langu. After this, you will make a decision. I am Ezekiel. And maybe we might look at Ezekiel, and the decision might be binding for all religious organizations. You asked me to tell the truth. Even after this, when you question me, I will tell the truth. The mandate of the committee isaidie wengine ambao hawajui kwa nini wanapitia mambo kama haya. Thank you, Your Honor.
So this is the point. Evangelists, we are very grateful for your presentation, and our people have been listening. The honorable senators here have been listening keenly, and they will ask questions. So just to clarify, so what you need to do is to maybe take down some notes as the inquiries are coming in. Then maybe you can do two at a go. And I'll be the first one to start with one. We have listened to a lot of witnesses who have come before us, evangelists. And one of those people who have appeared before us, there was an allegation that the Mr. MATIANG'I would carry out funeral services. And those funeral services, he used to christen them harusi. And there is an allegation that the funeral services were for those people who had passed on. We wanted a clarification from you. Is it true that you used to attend those funeral services and perform rites, the last rites? And this, according to the information, it used to happen on Mondays. So we want to hear from you what this is about. And then there were also witnesses who have come before us here, important church organizations. They have talked about being in an umbrella organization so that people are able to be self-regulated. In other words, like now you are the cost. You belong to maybe an umbrella organization. When you want to start a church, you have to go get clearances and stuff like that. So the question we wanted to ask as a committee is, first of all, do you support that idea of all churches to belong to an umbrella organization so that there is self-regulation within the umbrella organization? And if so, do you yourself belong to an umbrella organization? And which one is it? Are you answerable to somebody else within that umbrella organization for purposes of correcting doctrines and that kind of thing? Okay, yeah? Yeah. Let me give Tabitha to ask one more question, and then you can take those as we get the others. Let me give Senator Tabitha.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Pastor Ezekiel, for the broad framework that you've been able to share with this committee. My questions are a bit compounded. Just starting with the curiosity, from your presentation, you said, Pastor Pius Mwiro, your father, you got saved in year 2000. I'm just curious to know, at what point did you decide to become a pastor? Do you have any theological education behind? So at what point did you decide to start the church? How comes, Pastor Ezekiel, we didn't see you really coming out and rebuking the actions of Mr. Mackenzie on what he has been able to do? I think I will start with those two, Bonachair.
So, Pastor, maybe you can take those two.
Sorry, and the last one, because I don't want to come back on the questioning. Yes, we are very familiar with social media. I've not had an opportunity to attend your church, but I've heard that there is a material like kitamba that you normally issue, and members have to pull a string from this kitamba. Would you kindly expound on what we've been able to hear? Thank you, Chair.
Pastor.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair, plus the honorable members who have just presented their questions to me. Number one is the attendance or my attendance, perceived attendance to funerals services conducted in Shakahola by Pastor Mackenzie.
No, we don't call him Pastor.
Oh, by Mackenzie.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Now, I said, and one day I was traveling to Baringo, and when I came back, I was told randomly by the investigative authorities, Pastor, we know you went to Baringo and you are back. We can trace you even without telling you.
Yes.
The Safaricom network, because my line is Safaricom, has the capacity to trace whether I have ever gone to Shakahola.
Okay.
I have never gone to Shakahola.
Yes.
I've never attended those burials.
Yes.
I don't know where Shakahola is.
Thank you.
I've never gone there. Apart from the TV issue that I indicated that I went to that church
Yes.
to get a TV station, and I never entered the premises.
Yes.
When he was in Malindi, I've never met Mackenzie anywhere.
Okay.
So
Go to
concerning the
next.
weddings,
Yeah.
I'm hearing them now for the first time.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
He's just reminding me that the church that I went to is in Malindi, not in Shakahola.
Okay.
That I've just put that.
Correct.
Apart from inquiring about the TV when he was in Malindi, not in Shakahola. I've never gone to Shakahola. I don't know where it is.
Okay.
Number two, supporting umbrella bodies.
Yes.
Whether I'm one, I do. And my father, spiritual father, can attest to that. I once approached him and told him that I've been preaching as a son for a very long time.
Yeah.
Please, if I can join your umbrella body, that you are also a member. He told me it is okay. And even now that we are facing these issues, it is very important.
Yes.
Because these umbrella bodies can regulate, they become like the circles of Matatu, and I'm sorry to use that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you want to trace a pastor, you can go to the leader of the umbrella body
Yes.
and ask them, what are your doctrines when you allowed this pastor to join your body? So it is very important for the checks and balances. And I would want, even if it could be processed today, because I had approached him, even if my the finalization of my process could be done even today, it is very important, because we have a country and the people to protect. And those people are governed by the government, mandated by God and the votes of the people.
Okay.
Number 3,
Yes.
asked by the Honorable Deputy Chair, the theological aspect of it. And if I have any certificate in theology, and when I started preaching,
Yes.
I've never stepped on any theological door.
Yes.
God called me, and He guided me for a long period of time, since 2013, if I'm not wrong, to 2023, seeking spiritual guidance. Even when I was going to Kasarani, I told him, I will never step on that altar until you tell me if I'm doing something wrong or right. He told me, okay, wait. I started my crusade late because I was waiting for his guidance. If you trace our crusades, you will never miss Bishop Pius Muiru. Why do I move with him? He's more senior to me. I wanted his guidance. Please tell me whether I'm wrong or right. And he told me, if you want to check yourself, preach live. And when you find the opportunity to go to college for theology, take good use of that opportunity. He advised me. But I have not done that. Why, Pastor? I've been following the way he guides me. And because I have information, I don't want to rely on that, that we have several of our fathers who are preaching and they are doing what is good, and they have never gone to theological colleges.
Correct.
If I will say that they are bad people because they have never gone to theological colleges, I'm going to criminalize the gospel. In the gospel, and I don't want to use this to defend myself, the Bible says, they asked, isn't this the son of a carpenter? And we have records, he never went to school. Which school? Theological school. Who are they referring to? Jesus. The first miracle in the Bible was performed by non-theological people, Peter and James. And when they searched, they said, these people are not learned. What makes them perform this? They were with Jesus. So theology is good, and we should go to school, and I desire to do so.
Okay.
But if we are going to use this to stop anyone who has a calling, we are going to punish other innocent people, maybe who are not as criminal as maybe Ezekiel or somebody else. So that is my take on the theological part.
Honorable members, yes, Senator. I wanted to give Senator...
Excuse you, Chair. He has not finished responding.
You have not finished?
No, he has not.
Okay.
Why didn't you correct or talk about or rebuke what is or was done by Mackenzie? I came to know about this on TV and got arrested because I wanted to buy a TV channel from him. The next day, the same day, I was in police cell, Makupa. Following day, I was in Kilindini for 7 days. From that, the court allowed me to be out on one condition. Never say anything about this issue. I've desired to get an opportunity like this. That's why in my opening I said such a thing haikustahili kufanyika. So singeongea, ningekuwa kotini. Nilimuuliza, je, naenda Senate, sitashikwa kesho?
No.
Akaniambia, Pastor, Senate acts like a high court.
Yes.
Na it is independent. Kile ambacho utasema ni tofauti na kile ambacho utaulizwa. So singeongea kule nje, na nilipopata your invitation nilisema, Mungu, I think whoever invited me was visited by angels from heaven to call me so that I can have a mouth to express what I know. Finally, so I could not correct him on the point that I was gagged by the court. Finally, the kitambaa. The kitambaa is in the Bible, except that the way other people use it is not in the Bible. Some people used kitambaa from Paul for the healing and deliverance of other people. It is in the Bible. But when these people use the kitambaa na wanatoa uzi, when you go to our records on DVDs or tapes, huwa anasema, please, hawa watu mimi sijawaambia watumie uzi. Mimi nimewapa prayer cloth, because anything, imagine nguo ya Yesu iliponya mwanamke. Yesu anasema, if you believe, you will even do things that have not done. But I never advised anybody to be kitambara chukua uzi, funga wapi. I always say, please, sikuambia hivyo. I tell them, when you pray, this thing has power. I've prayed for it. You can even hold it in your hand. You can place it anywhere in your body. Unasikia wewe ni mgonjwa. Pray, ask God. God will use it as a point of contact. It is in the Bible. Even our brothers in other religions wanatumia ile inaitwanga nini?
Tasbih.
Rosaries.
Rosary.
And anointing oils. And holy water. Ubani. Ya Ezekiel raises eyebrows.
Okay, you finished? You finished there?
Do you have a sample?
Eh?
You finished?
Do I have
A sample?
a sample of a prayer cloth? No, but I have a sample of a living water. I would desire to hand it over to you.
No.
But they were the samples were taken by the police. They took them for forensic.
Honorable, I want to give Honorable William, because he's going to another committee.
Yeah.
And then we'll just come down like this.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
Chair, I have two questions.
Yes. Please just take down.
And Chair, as a lawyer, I have been looking at the demeanor of the witness and listen and keenly listen to his submission. And I seem to be making an opinion that he's a truthful witness.
Is he a truthful man also?
That is not for
there's another truthful man out.
Yeah.
Continue.
So I think he's been able to make a presentation. But Chair, I want him now to again be even more honest with us here, because I will ask two questions. One is that you remember, Chair, in one of the witnesses here, alleged that there is a mortuary within the compound.
There is a mortuary?
Yes, within the compound of the church. And some of the bodies of the victims of Shakahola were actually being transferred to that facility. Can you confirm or deny to this committee, tell us the truth? I know you are getting legal advice. Confirm that, Pastor, because that is the perception we have as a committee, that is the perception in the country. It is very important that to clarify that. Number two.
Yes.
You submitted that you had contact with Mackenzie in terms of your intention to buy
Yes.
the TV station. But thereafter again, you seem to be denying that you have never had an association with him. Are you confirming to this committee, therefore, that the only relationship between you and Pastor Mackenzie is only the issue of intending to buy the TV? Because the perception I have in the country is that there is some relationship between you and Mackenzie. I want you to confirm to this House, Pastor. And finally, Chair,
Yes.
is I wanted to get the mind of the pastor that whereas you agree that people should go for theology studies, obtain degrees, certificates, and so on, you have no problem with that. So if we come up with a law as a committee, as a recommendation, legal framework that we want to regulate the charges, so that then we have certain standards of degree, of certificates for a pastor to own a church or something like that. What would be your position on that? Though you don't have a problem with it, but do you think we can, as a committee, be able to recommend that to the House and to the country?
Thank you. Maybe we can take, Pastor, you've written those three, yeah? Let's take Senator Hamida, and we go like that. Or if you're not ready, you can give. Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Pastor Ezekiel, for a very elaborate presentation. I picked some thoughts from what you presented that I think that will be important for clarification for the committee. And there are three quick ones. Number one, you talked about the capacity of a church as being somewhere in the borders of 45,000 people. I wanted you to help the committee understand the issue of membership. Are all your worshippers members of your church or not? And if they are members, what is the membership process? How does a worshipper become a member of your church? Number two, you really talked very nicely about leadership in the country and recognize a lot of issues around governance, which is very profound. I want you to let the committee understand whether you personally are affiliated to any political party. And if not affiliated to any political party, are you affiliated to any political people, either as members of your church or not?
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
Did I hear point of order?
Yes.
Yes.
Without, of course, appearing to gag my friend here.
Yes.
Was that question about his political association, Chair, relevant? I want you to rule on that.
With a lot of respect, Honorable, Senator, maybe that's not within the mandate of our discussions. What I would request is, Pastor, you don't have to answer that one, but answer the other questions that have preceded. Thank you.
Chair, I thought the point of order was on the matter of relevance, which is, I think, point of order on 101. I think, given that I was listening to the witness, and the witness did bring issues that sparked debate in the committee that did affect the leadership of this country, that did talk about issues of political nature. And that's why I'm just asking a very simple question, whether he's also politically aligned. And I don't think that, and the reason I'm asking for that.
Senator,
Chair, could I help Senator Eddie?
Let's not go that way.
Chair, if Senator Eddie will allow me. Thank you, Eddie.
Senator Richard.
I think what Eddie is...
Senator Richard.
Yes, sir.
I beg you, let the witness, let's not go around this. Let him have the floor, and then we make progress. Because After he finishes, we want Senator Hamida, we want, and then we want you. We finish.
Chair, the matter is relevant. Actually, I wanted to shape his question instead of him asking him whether he belongs to any political
I have
party.
ruled. I have ruled.
Oh, you did?
I have.
Oh, sorry.
So let's just go that way.
So, I think, Chair, being a member of the committee,
yes,
any question that I ask, sir, you have the choice of not responding to them or responding to them. I'm just asking, just in case it could help you to frame any other conversation. That's the same way as membership. So the last question.
Senator Eddie.
Yes.
Let's not have argument. Okay, finish your last question.
Yeah, my last question is also a perception that is akin to what Senator Cheptuno alluded to, which is the question of the mortuary. But for me, I wanted to ask the question of, are there any people within your premises in the church who have fallen sick and are held in your church or otherwise? And if they aren't, if people happen, because you say that people come from far and wide in your church, if people come to your church and they happen to have fallen sick, what happens to them? Are they advised to go to the hospital? Are they sent back? Or are they held in your church? I think those are my questions, Chair.
Thank you, sir. Evangelists.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, for the opportunity. About the issue of mortuary, I will answer for both.
Okay.
The two of them. The issue of mortuary was raised by the media. I think when they saw one of the structures in the compound that belongs to the, I will call it powerhouse. It is where we have our transformer.
Okay.
We built it to for the safety of the transformer. And when this issue was raised, I told him, take the media live throughout New Life compound. And specifically, the media that pointed out on that issue about the mortuary, I'm saying because I wanted to mention the media. And I said, if they can do that, take them everywhere. And check, they opened that place. It belongs to the transformer and the panels.
Yes.
Nothing like a mortuary. Even if you could build a mortuary, that brings me to the second question.
Yes.
These people come from far and wide. How can you lie to someone from UK, to all these dead sister in that perceived mortuary? Another one from Rongai, another one from Kiambu, another one from Garissa. How? Because these people don't stay around.
Yes.
So we don't have one. And even again now, I would advise, let us take the media to that place to check and verify.
Okay.
And I think this one has happened because when we invited the investigative authorities, that is the appointed committees, even the one appointed by the president, to come and verify these things, they never shown up.
Okay.
So we don't have a mortuary, and I don't think it can be there.
Next question.
And we will show that in the video. I pray that isipuuzwe, huenda itafungua macho ya mengi ambao sijasema.
Yes.
It is there in the video where it is. Yes, I will show that. So, number 2.
Yes.
Do you hold sick people? We don't allow sick people in the church without their representatives. That is a rule. Even on air, we put it on air. when a sick person comes who is sick, sick, I mean, anakuwa na tatizo hata ya kutembea, we advise that person, sababu uwezi jua huyu mtu ataishi muda gani hapa ama atakufa saa ngapi, to go to the hospital. Sababu we cannot accept this person na hana mtu. What if anything happens to him? Utafanyaje? Utaambia nani? So we don't allow that in our church. There is a mortuary, Mavueni, past Mavueni Center, ukienda Mbogolo. And this mortuary, haina hospitali. And I think this is the reason why people connected me to the mortuary. One day I said, how can one build a mortuary minus even a clinic? Is it business or it is for the safe custody of the dead? Sababu iko mahali ambapo ni black spot. If in any case, God forbid, there is an accident, kabla hajawekwa kwa hii mortuary, si ungeweka hata ka clinic ya first aid kuokoa huyu mtu kabla hujamweka hapa. Sababu kama hakuna hata first aid kit, what is the message being portrayed? Hiyo kitu iliniletea hizi shida. It is in the YouTube, labda kama wame pull down. Somebody said, kama anatuharibia biashara tutamuonyesha. Hiyo kanisa itakuwa hapo.
Okay. So you answered the issue of the mortuary. Go to the next so that we make progress.
Thank you, sir.
There are all these other senators waiting to ask you questions.
Do I have any other relationship na Mackenzie? Ama ni hiyo TV? Only TV.
Okay.
That nilitaka kununua na sikununua, sikukamilisha transaction, and that is all.
Okay.
Hakuna kitu kingine.
Okay.
Theology should what is your view on recommendation of one going to theological college before he becomes a pastor? My view is this. If one wants to become a pastor, and the theological is knowledge is as important as we know.
Yes.
Anaweza kupewa ruhusa awe pastor, lakini he be or she be given an opportunity and the time aende asome, sababu inaweza kuwa online. Isije ikawa kitu ambacho kitamwambia don't. So that in the process anahubiri, anaweza kuenda kusoma jioni, akarudi na apewe muda. Unaweza kufungua kanisa, lakini you must submit kwamba utasomea hii theolojia kwa muda fulani, ili isije ikawa ni njia ya huyu akitaka kuzuia huyu, anajua huyu hajawahi kanyaga theolojia, hii kanisa nitaifunga tu. Mwangi hajawahi enda theolojia, pull it down. So ombi langu ni kwamba hata kama anaanza through the umbrella, awe advised na the umbrella body na apewe muda, and the umbrella body is submit kwa the government. This is our member, ameanzisha church, ameingia kwa hii college, ili asizuiliwe na kusiwe na misuse ya njia yote ya congregation. That is my take. And membership issue. Pastor Ezekiel, do you have members? Should I say we have or not? But I will put it this way. Those people who come to our church, they come because of listening to what I preach. And they come for prayers, mostly in need, spiritual attention. Na wakiingia wanatoka mbali. And most of them, they say they are our members. Nikisema niandike, this is our member, anatoka Germany. Kanisani leo kuna wengine wametoka Germany, wengine wametoka Italy, wengine wametoka Dubai.
Yeah.
Just as other churches like in other countries. Kuna wengine waliwahi toka hapa wakaenda South Africa kuhudhuria ibada, na anasema mimi nashiriki kule. The Bible says kwamba na siku ile mnataka kupeleka sadaka kule ambako nimeweka jina langu na ni mbali, you can choose on a day you go. Hata kama ni mbali na huko ndio nimeweka jina langu, choose on a day even after 3 years, na mkaenda huko na mtoe sadaka hapo. So it was and it is in the Bible kwamba kuna sehemu ambazo Mungu alichagua watu waende wa muabudu like Jerusalem, na wengine wanakaa Ashdod. Kitambo aende huku ni mbali, anaweza kukaa lakini kanisa lake liko pale. So I don't know whether to put it, these are my members because I'm not documented. Because of this reason, we opened branches countrywide and other countries, so that wale ambao ni mbali na wangetamani ku attend services apart from the TV program, they can attend our services in our branches. Na kama anatoka Kericho na New Life branch iko Kericho, anaweza kuenda kwa huyo pastor, he is a member there, na anaweza sema natamani kuenda kwa Pastor Ezekiel. He also has a room na kuja mpaka Mombasa. That is what we are doing now, because saa zingine kuja Mombasa ni mbali, but we have branches and we are opening more branches kusaidia wale ambao wanatoka mbali. Another thing on the process of membership, I think I've answered that, whether we have a process. Affiliation to any political party, I would request that I answer.
Okay.
From day one, I said, and I will put it here, God told me in a vision, never associate yourself with any political party. That is why I've never attended any political function. Na kanisa langu ambalo naongoza, kanisa letu ambalo naongoza, sikumbuki kama nimewahi kupeana platform any political leader asimame aongee anything political. Sababu kanisa hilo liko na makabila yote, watu ambao wako affiliated na different parties. Saa zile nitasema mimi ni wa huyu na si wa huyu, yule mshirika mwingine ambao ni wa party X atanifikiriaje na nitamwambia nini? So mimi, I'm not affiliated to any political party. I've never attended any political rally organized by any political party. Na ninaomba kama ni kukosea, naomba wanisamehe, kwa sababu to mix politics with God's work, utaambia watu nini? When the country is burning, people run to the church. Na kama nilisema huyu ambaye ana aspire to be a governor ni wangu, waende wapigane huko members. Sasa wanakuja kutafuta counseling the two governors. Yule mwingine ambao nilimuoposa atakuja kweli? Na nimepeana any spiritual guidance kwa inchi? No. So I said the last door ambao inchi ikichomeka watu wanakimbilia ni kanisa. Kile ambacho kilifanyika Kiambaa and the rest during 2007 kisiwahi rudia. You might feel, Pastor, you are wrong for not to be affiliated. I learned from 2007. Hakuna mahali mtu angeingia aseme hii ni msikiti ama hii ni kanisa, because we made a mistake. Tulisema sisi ni wa huyu, sisi si wa huyu. Nobody respected the church. So mimi ninakaa hivi. That is why hata nipitie haya hautasikia nimepigia kiongozi fulani simu ambao is a political leader ani okoe.
Sawa.
Na hajawahi tokea. So mimi, I'm not affiliated to that.
So
and
that's okay. Is there another?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Very fast. I'll do that very fast. Am I affiliated to any political leader or person who is related to me in the church. In my church, ukiangalia record zangu, hakuna kiti kimekuwa designated hii ni political leader who is a member. Akija akae hapa mbele ama akae kule. Yeyote anayekuja anakuja service. Awe political leader gani, awe political leader. Labda nimeambiwa na maybe because of respect and honor. The president is coming, the governor is coming, and they say, weka kiti chake hapa for security reasons. That one I will do. Because wakati ambapo rais, governor, senator anakuja na umepewa advice na the security department, weka kiti hapa, siwezi kudespise hiyo, nitakuja kufanya. Lakini sijui kama niko na member yote ambao is a political leader. I don't know. So I'm not affiliated to anyone, not to any party.
Asante. Mheshimiwa David, and then Mheshimiwa oh, sorry.
Nimeomba tu niseme.
Yes.
Wanasema wanawake kwanza lakini wanaume mbele.
Point of order. Bwana Speaker, simpati hiyo nafasi hiyo imenigusa and I'll continue. Thank you very much.
David.
Wacha nimpe nafasi.
Najua na moyo mweupe kama pamba. Asante Mheshimiwa Mhubiri Ezekiel. Langu ni kuuliza uhusiano wako uko vipi kati yako na idara ya polisi? Msimamo wako ni upi hususan ulinzi ambao watumishi wa Mungu hupata kutokana na askari jeshi wa nchi ya Kenya? Unaunga mkono wahubiri makasisi kulindwa na kuongozwa na askari wa nchi ya Kenya, ama umeachia ulinzi wako na hatima yako Mungu aliye hai? Jambo la pili, wale makasisi ama wahubiri ambao wako nyanjani katika kanisa lako, wao unatumia mfumo upi kuwatia msasa na kuchagua kwamba huyu amepata mwito na sauti kutoka nyikani, na pili, amehitimu kuhubiri, na ni vigezo hivi vipi mnatumia kuchagua hawa wahubiri kutoka mashinani? Asante.
Okay, Senator Hamida.
Thank you, Chair. Pastor Ezekiel, nimeona through your fees structure, nimeona kusema kweli umejaribu sana, na hawa ni Wakristo na Waislamu. The fee structure, looking at it, unapata check moja about 62,000, 75,000, kama ya Amin ni 48,000, ya Lillian I think almost 168,000, Athman 75, na kadhalika. So I'm just wondering, kusema kweli, and you know, apart from kama ni social media, kuwa wamekuwa associate na vitu vingine apart from zile sadaka unapata. Associate wewe, kwa sababu ukiangalia hii, tuseme hiyo fees labda ni ya term moja, na kuna utakuwa labda utaendelea kwa this kind of fees, hauwezi kumlipia mtu labda term moja. Lazima utaweza kuendelea nao ili waweze kukamilisha, kwa sababu hii ni fees kwa wazazi wao labda hawawezi kulipa. So I'm looking at it and saying, there was a speculation that these funds are from money laundering, organs trafficking, and the rest. Sasa ukiangalia hii sadaka and the kind of money that inatumika, ndio nasema labda uwe tu clarify kama hiyo ni ukweli vile watu walikuwa nasema mambo ya organ trafficking na the rest, na kama hiyo tu ni upande wa sadaka. Lingine, kwenye board naangalia kwa board ya New Life, is there a board or a committee that runs operations for your church kwa vyovyote vile? Nafikiria hilo ni swali langu tu kwa sasa, mpaka niongeze lingine. Asante bwana mwenyekiti.
Asante sana. Honorable Senator, maybe we can just take yours and then we'll have... those are how many questions? Those are like 4? 4 or 5?
They are 5, 6.
Let him answer and then we give you. Yes.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair, for another opportunity. The relationship between me or the church leaders and the police, how should it be? Or how am I related to the police? We have a very good relationship, me and the police. And the role of the police is very important. Most of them risk their lives to provide security. And I think the church should be close to the police. One, because of the members who come to our churches. If the police is not given permission to have a good relationship with the preachers, how will the police relay information from the church to the government? Because the police is there to police, to protect even the members, citizens of that country. And the members of our churches are citizens of a country. We should have a good relationship. And apart from the few incidences that I've mentioned, I have a very good relationship with the police. I have some who are DCI. We have a very good relationship. I might be tempted to quote the one who was ferrying me, the driver, to the court during that time. Since then, he's a good friend of mine. He told me, Pastor, I'm taking you to court, but please, I'm not your investigator. After this, even if I call you, don't deny me a chance to talk to you. So he can call, Pastor, pray for me. I do. Because he did nothing wrong to me. Anyone who was investigating me did nothing wrong to me. It is their right. So we need to have a good relationship with the police.
Okay,
now,
so move to the next.
On churches,
yeah,
the church should have a good relationship with the police. That is very important, and we should respect the police. Let it not be taken that once I said so and so in the police department did this to us, I'm not referring to the police. I'm referring to an individual in the police. I think I should put it that way and leave it there. How I train my pastors, we take time. When they join pastorship, they stay there for quite a long time, even 2 years. They are seated there. I even teach them at night after services, because our services begin at around 8 in the morning. It comes to an end at around sometimes even 6 in the afternoon. By God's grace, I stand and preach for all those hours. By God's grace. So I teach them for quite a while. Then I call my spiritual father to pray for them and to anoint them. Even the ones that I've dispatched, he prayed for them. Because I don't want to release people who are not known to him. And he's the spiritual head guiding me. So that is how I train them. And when I will have the opportunity, maybe willingly or by being compelled to go to theological college, I will do what is necessary. Because the fate of our country, once you have been entrusted by more than 45,000 people to talk to them, you need to be very careful and know that these are not your people. These are the citizens of a country. You must do what is right for their sake. So that is my position. Fee structure. The fee structures there and the amount that we have paid for them. There are people who have been in school, and by the mercies of the heads of the school, they can even go to school until they reach form 4, wakati ambapo wanadaiwa something like 200,000. Mwalimu anajaribu kuwa lenient. Maybe mtoto anapata A, lakini mwalimu anafikiria niko na watoto kama 70. Nikifukuza huyu ataenda kutoka nje kwa sababu ya fee structure. Kwa sababu ya fee. Sinimwache hapa. So wakati ambapo tumepata mtoto kama huyo, huwa hatuangalii ni kabila gani, anatoka kwa religion gani, anadaiwa ngapi. The fate of our children lies with us. Wewe Ezekiel, by God's grace, you can have a church with a sitting capacity of 45,000 people. Where do you take this money? Utaniambia hauna 200,000 ya kulipia mtoto wa mtu? Ama ni greed? So mimi nikipata, I don't ask. Bora tu shule imedhibitisha anadaiwa hii. We verify through the accountant and the bank. Huwa nalipa. I may not know who will become the next president. Maybe namsomesha. And I don't know kwa nini Mungu amenijalia neema saa zingine ya kifedha kuliko mwingine. I'm just performing my duties ambao Mungu amenijalia neema. Anipe fedha hii na anipe roho, sababu huenda sio mimi peke yangu napata sadaka kama hiyo, huenda mwingine yako nayo, and I just do my part. That's why we pay that amount of money. And as just as you have put it, ukiangalia hiyo karatasi, mimi naitwa Ezekiel Odero. Kupata Edwin Onyango hapo ni ngumu. I don't know kama yuko.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because niliponunua uwanja Kilifi, I had all information, the plight of the children of Kilifi, through Honorable Chair, Honorable Senator. Hakuna mtu asiyejua mtoto wa Kilifi vile anavyokaa. Kila wakati TV, yule mtoto aliyekuwa anatuanga mawe akawa covered na Citizen, and I thank God for the Citizen TV, alikuwa anatoka Kilifi. Mimi nakaa hapo, washirika wametoa sadaka, niko na watoto 3. Mimi nikae kwa sababu kiwango cha uchumi wa Kilifi na Kisumu ni tofauti. Turkana na Thika ni tofauti. Uwezi enda Thika kusomesha mtoto Thika na umeacha mtoto wa Turkana ama mtoto wa Kilifi. What are you doing? So nikasema charity begins home. Nichukue hawa watoto more than 200 niwapeleke shule. Maybe kesho tutakuwa na mtoto mwingine anaitwa Kaindi, the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. That is the reason. Na kama tuko na uwezo wa kuwapeleka watoto 200 shule na wako Kilifi, kesho tukipata watoto wengine kama wako sehemu za Turkana, vile ambavyo tunapanga, sababu Turkana na Kilifi zinakaribiana, mapato ni tofauti, tuende huko tuwasaidie. Tuki-expand pole pole, tuende Kisumu kwa sababu sio wote wanaweza, ama sehemu za ya Chair, hata sehemu ambao unatoka Tana River, tuwasaidie, because you can't do it all over the country all of a sudden. Na governor nikamwambia naomba hawa watoto ambao naona wamekwama. Governor akaniambia, Pastor, I wish you knew ni watoto wangapi. Nilipoenda kwa ofisi yake nikapata mtoto aliyeuza kuku apate nauli ya kuenda kwa governor, na mwingine ametembea mguu kilomita 20. Governor anaweza kuprove hii, aende aombe school fees kwa governor. Nilimuomba governor, maybe you are able to do this, lakini nimeona na macho yangu, nipe nafasi hao watoto niwalipie, na yule ambao plight yake imetangazwa na Citizen, na wengine waje. Walienda wakatangaza. That is how we got over 100 students na wakaletwa. Tushalipa 1 year. Yatakikana by maybe the end of this year. Hiyo ni wale ambao tumewalipia 1 year. But we are taking more than 200 students, full scholarship, secondary, full scholarship, secondary. Nikamwambia nipe hawa nisomeshe. Nadhani niko na uwezo. Mimi niko na watoto 3. Chair, mimi nimesomeshwa na ndugu mwingine anaitwa Matthews Malege hapa tu, na sikumaliza kwa sababu hangekuwa na hizo pesa zote za kunifundisha chemical processing technology. Na babu yangu ndiye amenisomesha kuanzia class 7 mpaka form 2. NGO imenisomesha from form 2 to form 4. Mimi nikajua kizungu kiasi. Leo hii naweza nikapata pesa ambao huenda mshirika anatamani kujua, and it is biblical. Unaitumiaje? Nikae Kilifi, tuhubiri injili, kuwe na hawa washirika, mimi ninunue gari nyingine na gari nyingine, huyo mtoto amekwama. Hapana. Even natural justice haifai. Hiyo ndio maana tulianza na Kilifi, na Mungu atuwezeshe, tutawapeleka shule.
Okay. So now, Senator...
and I will answer something, sir. Please, Your Honor. Money laundering?
Oh, yes.
Yes. I will put it this way. I don't know whether we are required, I don't know how to put it, but kanisa ambao watu wako 2,000 na wanatoa tithe na wanatoa offering, Your Honor and Chair, sidhani kama mimi vile nimekaa mchungaji, sidhani kama hiyo sadaka ni kidogo, honestly. Na hiyo sadaka, kwa nini mambo ya money laundering imeanza? Kwa sababu ya what we do with the church money, and maybe, I'm not sure, other churches are not doing with the church money. Kama makanisa tungekuwa tunasaidia wakati wa drought, wakati wa watoto wamekwama hivi, na kuambia serikali ingeweka maybe 30% kwa education. If we do what is rightfully ours as a church, we have more than maybe 50,000 churches. What is our contribution to the society? And why should we victimize a church that is taking more than 200 students to school and say it is money laundering? Utamfanya aogope, aseme nisipeleke ili kesho nisije nikashtakiwa, because all churches maybe are not doing so. Kwa hivyo mimi nikae naogopa. Ukijenga shule kama ile ambayo tumejenga, unaulizwa where do you take the money? Mimi niko na watoto 3. Ile shule itasaidia the community, kuna security, kuna walimu, kuna nani. I believe, mimi kwangu hakuna money laundering, na serikali ichunguze hata kuanzia kesho na wa present their finding. Na nakuwa reminded wamechunguza, because yes, thank you, they closed all our bank accounts to chunguza, and they chunguzed and they allowed us to continue. Okay. And the committee, church committee, we have, he is the administrator, yes. Tuko na wengine, the accountant, and those who work in several departments, atungewabeba, but we have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Senator Richard, then. So we're just about to finish after we hear these questions.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you, Pastor Ezekiel, for giving us an opportunity to try and understand what your church stands for and who you are. Number 2, I also want to say that the 2 very prominent lawyers you have are actually my personal friends and people I've grown up with. So I think you have good company. I want to ask you 3 questions. The first question I want to ask, and I want you to be very attentive as you jot down your notes, because question number 1 may have A, B, and C. For example, do you think that there is a need for our country to regulate religious activities, not to stop you praying, not to stop you discussing the word of the Lord, But basically, regulation, according to me, means, number one, you have actually dealt with the first issue, and that is money laundering. How do you know that when money has been given for tithe, that actually that money is genuine and is money that has been given in bits and pieces, and therefore there isn't any other external influence for that money to be brought into the church for it to go and do something else? Because one of the reasons, Pastor Ezekiel, why we are in this committee and why we are in the Senate is to constantly begin to look at our laws and see that how do we accommodate our activities, whether financial, economic, social, whatever, without breaking the law. Do you think it is necessary for the church to be regulated? Number one, on handling of money. And in this case, I'm not saying the church should be taxed. I'm just saying the managing of the money. Do you think there's anything wrong if once you collect your tithe, you declare it so that the regulatory bodies are able to know how much you have just because of the way money laundering and those activities are taking place? Number two, do you feel that when we raise the issue about noise pollution, when churches do crusades during the day, nobody really has an issue. But you notice that there are churches now who are conducting services at night from midnight, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you think that there's a need for the church to be controlled? The last item I wanted to ask on that issue is that when you look at some of the activities that are performed in those services, sometimes if you see what is happening to our ladies, sometimes you see the way how the pastors are behaving and how they are handling gender issues in those services. I think you've seen hundreds and hundreds of clips. Do you think there needs to be regulation on such activity and such behavior in the church? That was question number one. The second question I wanted to ask you is this. You've noticed that there is this question that is constantly being brought up where you are trying to be affiliated or associated with these human body parts trafficking, that is kidneys, eyes, and stuff like that. That has come out in social media. The government and the DCI has not accused you of any of that. But I wanted to ask you so that there's clarity on this matter. Having 45,000 people in a church is not a simple endeavor. If you take the law of probability, if you take just 1% of those people, they would fall sick. I'm assuming about 400 people. Do you have a medical facility at your church? Have you managed anybody who has been unwell? Do you have doctors in that facility? And in this case, have you had, ever since you opened your church, anybody die in your church? And what happened if that actually happened? The last item I just wanted to raise, Chairman, is on the issue of radicalization. That has been in the Islamic church, which is the Islamic religion, and also in our Christian religion, that has been the case. What is your reaction when you find that there are pastors and preachers who actually tell people not to take their children to school, not to take their children to the hospital if they are sick? What do you think can be done to solve that problem? I think, Chair, those are the three issues I wanted to raise.
Thank you. Senator Boni.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our brother Ezekiel, I've listened to you very carefully. And on the first point, you have contended that you do not need knowledge in geology to propagate the word of God. And you have attributed that to the fact that Jesus didn't have that kind of training. With the humility, allow me to remind you that you are not Jesus. And your pastors seated behind you are not Jesus. I believe, and many people who have gone to school well, believe that theology is a very complex subject. Would you allow me and this committee to legislate so that all pastors must have training in theology your history notwithstanding? That's question number one. Question number two, Pastor, the issue of financial exploitation of members of the public by some pastors, owners of churches, etc. Would you allow us and would you help us to format a way in which we can insulate Christians and Muslims and all churchgoers? We insulate them from exploitation. I know you have given us the example of saying that all the money that you have, you expend on church activities. That answer does not inspire me. It doesn't inspire me, sir, because even in the case of Jim Jones, 1978, from Koyana, when he massacred 900 Christians who believed in him, subsequent to his death, it was found that he had a network of bank accounts, secret bank accounts. Could you tell Kenyans today, following these proceedings, and on your own word, not on the word of the lawyers, whether you don't have a network of secret bank accounts? Why, my brother Ezekiel? Because, admirably, you have grown your wealth over the time of the last 11 years. You've grown your wealth from a young keyboard player in Pastor Mwiru's church and become a billionaire. According to the records that we pick from Google, you are a billionaire. Could you confirm, deny or otherwise, that these billions have either been raised from exploiting members of your church or that you're doing clean business? And if you're doing clean business, could you tell us what are those business practices? It's a fair question. It is not personal. It is intended to help us to protect the public. And the two lawyers on your either side, the reason why they are lawyers, my brother, is because there exists legislation that allows them to practice law. So if you want to protect society, to allow society to remain orderly, you must do legislation. So because of the shock of the deaths of Shakahola, we have said never again should it happen. And if it must take legislation, we want to commit ourselves to legislate. Finally, but not least, the issue of the podium being used to incite members of the public. In the name of the Lord has told me, the Lord has shown me that leader X or coalition Y or party Z is the wrong one. How can you help us to legislate so that we contain that? And I'm glad you have referred to the post-election violence of 2007. I think Shakahola is worse than the post-election violence. Because post-election violence, people were competing, but in Shakahola, the unsuspecting public, and I speak from Kakamega, where many of them have been buried in Shakahola. I have attended Virgil funerals back home in Mumias, funerals back home in Shinyalu, in Ekolomani, in Butere. Thanks to that, what happened? Pastor, help us. What can we do? It's not enough for you to again and again keep on telling us it is from the teeth or the contribution is the church that I have met this world. Be a man of God today in the interest of the people who are lying dead today. I speak for Mangi, a little boy of 8 years old. When the police arrived in Shakahola, he was standing outside the homestead, and his parents were not there. And he said, Papa na Mama wameenda harusi. And when they ask what is that, it is what the chairman has been guiding you, where you are reported to have presided over such an event. And Mangi, who I speak for, 8 years old, is alive. He showed the police 2 graves, fresh ones, and told them, here lies my 2 elder brothers who were buried. Open up, my brother. I want to be proud of you. Kenya wants to be proud of you. The man on your left, Omari, he knows me. He normally saves me in my political turmoils. The man on your right, he knows me very well. We walk the same political journey. When you disown political leaders, and the Standard newspaper reported that on the 6th of May, you are visited by one of the political leaders of one of the coalition, and he came with governors and members of parliament. Have you come to lie? Your lawyers will advise you. 6th of May. He was there, and photographs were splashed. You tell us that the only time you have associated with us politicians is when we're in church. But in this photograph, you are in a state-of-the-art room suggesting that could be your residence in Shakahola. I beg you, my brother, if you believe in God, as many of us do, the children who are today lying dead or orphans because of scriptural preachings deserve that we open up, brother, we stop this thing. And finally, I congratulate you for using this podium today, this platform, so not podium, but this platform today to condemn what happened in Shakahola. In my other life, I'm a doctor. You cannot have a place which is frequented by 45,000 people. I don't know if it's on a daily basis or weekly basis, and they don't fall ill. And people who are ill die. Tell us about the people who die in Mvuleni. What do you normally do with them?
Senator Cherargei.
Chair, thank you very much. I will just have seen our brother Pastor Ezekiel has answered a number of questions.
Point of order, Chair.
From where?
So that I don't forget, allow me to answer this. There are very many, please. Then I will answer his question. I humbly request.
No. What I thought was he finishes so that when you speak, we wind up. Unless there's something very big, we wind up and we close the whole thing.
Your position
Yes.
granted, Chair.
Continue.
Thank you, Pastor Ezekiel, and it is finally good to meet you in person. And I was sent by your friends from Tanzania, and they are greeting you. And I'm giving you an offer. I heard you came with holy water. I would receive after the session. Chair, just 3 questions in the interest of the good job that you are doing. And this is serious. One, because I'll be precise, Pastor Ezekiel, what is the registration status of the New Life International Life Church as at now? Is it interim? Has it been cancelled? Is it active? Number one. Number two, have you been threatened by anyone, known to you or unknown to you, in the course of what happened in Shakahola, massacre, or what happened in Shakahola? Have you been threatened either in person, by people known to you or unknown to you in the course of your life? Because I was watching some of your preachings when you were doing a crusade online, and you are saying that somebody was threatening you. So, number two. Number three, just out of curiosity, you know there are healing sessions. Chair, and when this thing came up, I've been following keenly when our brother is preaching. There are people who come to be prayed to be healed, and some of us who are Christians believe in the power of healing. Are there at some point in the course of your services, through your handlers and your staff, become critically sick? Do you have data of them? Unfortunately, some of them are passed on within your compound, and do you have biodata of the same? Number four, this New Life TV and Times TV that was owned by Mr. Mackenzie, who is facing criminal charges in court, is there any relationship? Or after paying 500,000, you left that pursuit of Times TV and acquired a New Life International TV that is both in TV and online? And I must appreciate too that you are doing very well on online services. Finally, on the bank accounts.
Yes. Point of interjection. If you could repeat the same question, please.
The same question. Yes, on Times TV. Is there a relationship between Times TV that was owned by Mr. Mackenzie when you tried to acquire a New Life TV? Is it the same? Did you transit, or you left acquiring of Times TV by Mr. Mackenzie and you acquired your own frequency, which is in use now? Finally, these bank accounts, M-Pesa pay bill, are you one of the signatories? And to just add on it, you have told us all these investments, and I saw my brother on a light note, my brother Senator Eddie was excited when you talk about investments because he sits in PIC. Are all these investments under the name of the New Life Church? Number one. Number two, if I go today to registrar of companies, are you one of the directors who own some of these investments? And finally on that,
please repeat that number.
Then I repeat
I've
again.
recorded the signatory part, then
okay.
the question
on the investments, in these investments, you say they are registered under the church. If I go today to registrar of companies or a registrar of societies, will I, and the good learned senior of mine will advise you, will I get your name as part of the directors or in any form or managers? Will I get it? Finally, what Senator Boni Khalwale asked, do you have your own wealth outside the church investments? And have you been anyway, since investigations began, subjected to lifestyle audit by any government agency, including EACC and others? And finally, what is your opinion?
If you could repeat that. You are very fast, and I'm used to Madabao.
Okay. Sorry. I'll repeat. I'll take that again.
Yes, thank you.
And relax. I'm your supporter and follower, so relax. And I believe in what you are doing, and I'm a good Christian. What I'm just saying is, outside these investments, when I go to registrar of companies or registrar of societies, will I be able to find your name as among directors or any other position that manages the church and the investment? Number one. Number two is, do you have wealth outside the investment of the church that belongs to Pastor Ezekiel or Ezekiel Odera as a person, like a garden, like a shamba, like a rental property, you know what I mean? And since investigations began, have you been subjected to lifestyle audit by the investigative agencies, including EACC or the rest? And finally, what is your position on the regulation of religious organization? Personally, I don't believe that the government should come and self-regulate what happens in religious organization. But to assist us in making progress, what do you think? What do you think? And Senator Eddy, relax, because I'll not sign the report, I'll not write the report, I'm just a friend of the committee. Finally, what is your position in government coming in to regulate the religious activities? Outside the normal regulation we have of through registrar of societies, filing of returns, among others. Would you want a situation, for example, Chair, would you want a situation that the DCI or the government will come and say, Pastor Ezekiel Odero, you are preaching on prosperity gospel according to the gospel of Matthew. The government goes and look at the sermon
Point
and
of order,
says
Chair.
it is okay.
Point of order.
Yes.
Chair, I
point of order.
Yeah, I respect, he's a ranking member, Senator Chair. Yes. And this question is actually really valid.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask whether it is in order
Yes.
to actually lead the witness into a path of how to answer those questions. He has asked a question, but he's now leading the witness on how to answer that question. And I don't think that's appropriate.
Okay, just rephrase.
So I will refrain. I don't want to
Rephrase the question.
I will rephrase. I don't want to take the jobs of Cliff and Mawakili who are there. Maybe I'm also looking for a job. A quick one. I'm just saying, for example, do you think a situation where the government will come and tell you, Pastor Ezekiel Odero and our senior dad pastor, Pastor Muiru, would come and say, before you preach on Sunday, bring all the summonses to DCI, we go through, then you go and preach. Would you want such a regulation? I'm just using an example. Would you want such a regulation? That is my position. And finally, Pastor, we wish you well. Don't be bullied by social media. As we are victims of social media and we don't care about it, continue preaching the gospel of the Lord. And may the good Lord guide you and bless you. I thank you, Chair, with that induction.
Thank you. Pastor, I wanted you to take us through, and then when you finish, you give us your closing remarks. Yeah. Allow him to talk. Let him start first. We finished here. Pastor, let's make progress.
Thank you, Chair. More than 20 questions, but I will try to answer.
Just do the best. Fast.
Now, concerning the regulation of churches and activities, I will answer this, and I believe it will help me to say I've answered. Once I've answered that question from Honorable Boni Kaluale, I've answered.
And indeed, some of them you had actually alluded to them previously, so you can also indicate that this one, Mr. Chairman, I had dealt with.
Thank you, Your Chair.
So that we can move faster.
The aspect of regulating the churches, I think I dealt on that, and I said, let us be sober. When we do things with emotions, we are likely to make mistakes. When something of this magnitude has occurred, we need soberness, so that when we touch on the regulation of the churches, not only churches, because the massacre of Shakahola, I don't think it dealt with the money. So if we are regulating churches, where do we leave our brothers who go to mosques and our sisters who go to the temple and those who go to wachawi? Because waganga wanapewa certificate in the pretense ya kwamba ni traditional healers. Sadaka yao huwa wanapelekanga wapi? Hakuna mtu ameita mganga akamuuliza tangia upewe certificate, show cause ile sadaka yako unapelekanga wapi na umesomesha mtoto gani?
I don't know.
So,
Pastor Ezekiel, maybe you can.
This is just an example, sir.
Yeah, because I don't know whether the mandate, our mandate goes to examining wagangas as well. I think
they are
registered to religious organizations. So maybe you can answer those questions.
Your chair, they are registered under religious societies.
Yes. Societies Act.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go.
We share the same certificates.
Yeah, that's why I think.
So as a sign of humor, your chair,
yes.
My father and my friend from today.
Chair, point of order.
Yes, point of order, Chair.
The reason why I wanted 1 minute is because some questions were asked within the mandate of this committee, but they weren't framed, and I wanted to caution us not to mislead the witness. So, for instance, when a question is asked that do you want us to regulate churches, it is a bias. It's not what this committee is doing. This committee is looking at all religious organizations.
It's quite right.
And that's why I wanted to just guide him so that he doesn't get boxed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I believe he has put it correctly.
All right.
If we are going to use soberness and involve the church and the imams and the sheikhs and the leaders of the temples to sit down as a community with sobriety and discuss this matter, then we will come up with a good framework on how to look into this matter.
Okay.
When we put a person or an event in our focus, we might do something that tomorrow we might be forced to change the same law. Like now, we are thinking on how to change the 2010 Constitution because some of the things we did emotionally. So it requires a lot of sobriety. I will never say do this or do that because currently, whatever we have gone through is very bad and should never repeat itself. So we need a lot of sobriety in considering this.
Yes.
Money laundering and influence from money given to the church.
You dealt with that.
I dealt with that.
Go the next.
Noise pollution. And he put it this way, that no problem with crusades. But churches and other religious organizations may be, let us put it, mushrooming around. Is it good that we control? It is good that we use a good formula to look into this. I don't have a position, but I would like to do it this way. It means we are going to tell all the imams that when you pray 5 times a day, remove the horn speakers, because the churches and the mosques are situated near other residential areas. So we are going to be forced to tell the churches, church preachers and the imams, please remove the horn speakers and stop doing this. That's why I still call upon sobriety, so that we don't infringe on the rights of Muslims and don't infringe on the rights of Christians.
Yes, Senator.
The mosques, Pastor Ezekiel, the mosques don't play music. They never do. They read verses of the Quran. No, that is misinformation. Chair, I think that point is valid.
Honorable Chair.
Chair, I think also it is good to be fair. When they read, they recite. It is good to say recitation, which is the same as, it's not music, but it's musical.
Okay, may I just say, I think the bigger point is on noise pollution. So let the witness give his evidence, and then we will debate all these things when we are doing the report writing. So
thank you, Chair, for defending me against the honorably aggressiveness of Thank you, Chair. Now.
Okay, just proceed. Maybe don't be moved too much. We are all like that.
I'm just using humor
on the issue.
I'm just using humor so that we don't become emotional when we are going through this. You know, when you give.
Okay, don't explain. Go to answering the questions.
On that, I still stand with my position. Sobriety is very important so that we don't infringe on other religious organizations like our brothers Muslims, to stop them, because noise is noise. Whether it is a baby crying, or a music being played, or a bang from a road collision between vehicles, when it is constant, it becomes noise. So we need sobriety. Handling of people, maybe female, I think that is where the umbrella bodies fall.
Yes.
When something happens in a certain church that is affiliated to a certain umbrella body, the body can be invited by a good body like the Senate and ask them, we have seen this. What have you done with this? What have you done about this church? Yeah. That's where I think the umbrella body falls, so that we don't repeat the same mistakes that have occurred.
Yes.
And the body parts, how do you handle the sick? When you lead a congregation of that magnitude, and somebody maybe from within or without talks about body parts, and nobody, not even a single person, has come out to say, my nephew or my brother who was taken to this church, when we buried him, there was no body part. Because we talk about Shakahola, and we ask Pastor Ezekiel about body parts, and Pastor Ezekiel has never gone to Shakahola, has never attended any burial. I presume that this question is kind of, with humility, irrelevant to me to answer, because
what you do, if the question is, you just say that no, this one,
thank you.
We did not participate in any body parts or whatever, sale or buying, then you go to the next one. You don't have to explain so much.
Thank you, Your Honor. When somebody comes to our church, and this person is a sick person, and supposedly something happens to him, like death, I said and I stated that this person is not allowed in our church premises, any seriously sick person, without somebody, a guardian.
Yes.
So when anything happens like such, this guardian is taken with all documents to report to the police, number one.
Yes.
Then from the police gives guidance on how to handle this. Because since we stepped in Mavueni, we were introduced to the OCPD by then, the OCS, and they were there. And for your information, the committee, the former area OCPD retired. And when he retired, we absorbed him as the head of our church security. Because he has vast information about security matters. And when you handle over 45,000 people, you need somebody who has experience. So that is what we do. We don't, okay, this one is seriously sick, he has died, dump. we follow the right procedure. The police takes action from there, not the church. Because we don't admit anybody to be prayed for who is sick without a guardian. And when that person comes, nowadays, not before, nowadays, we have a registered nurse who checks into the lives of these people, the danger, because they might come in the morning at around 11. I pray for the same person at around 5. The duration is a bit long. So we see she recommends who is admitted and who is supposed to go to the hospital before she or he comes. That's what we do. And, okay, radicalization, schooling of children, stopping children from schooling, I think we have touched on that. We will have all the records taking the children to school. Thank you so much.
You covered.
Theology, you are against, I think I put it right, I'm not against theology. And should you allow theology first, I had put my position that theology is very important. And when we work on that, when someone has a calling, through the umbrella body, they will recommend, you have a calling, that is your church, we know you, but go to the school because this one is important. So that one will guide us. And financial exploitation, should we insulate them from exploitation by imposing law? I think I touched on that when someone is a preacher, and because if you want to tell a preacher, how much money did you get yesterday? 30,000. Okay, you go do this, not this. It means even the ministers in the church won't receive financial assistance because the government says, do this, do this. I think through the umbrella bodies, it is very easy to follow where the money goes. You call him, this man is this pastor. Where does he take his money? So it is very easy to get the information through the umbrella bodies. And the network of secret banks, accounts, I think through the government and their investigation, if I had any network of secret banks account abroad, zingekuwa kwa media na huenda ningelikuwa na kama iko yangu, hiyo pesa natamani ichukuliwe, na kama niliweka nisipewe, sina. And the verdict is out there. You have grown your wealth and become a billionaire. I will rephrase it this way. I said nothing except the 3 vehicles or 2, and I've given explanation through the administrator, that are registered because of team's account problem. I would advise anybody to go to the ground and check. I think I even have some samples of title deeds. Which property that belongs to New Life is registered in the name of Ezekiel? None. And I would like, I don't want to put it as emotion, the chair to also guide the Honorable Senate, maybe to go to my fellow preachers and ask them, Ezekiel has none. How many or how much do you have? Because if I am guilty, punished, innocent, let us look for the culprit or the guilty, so that it should not be seen as Ezekiel, not the regulation. Okay, I'm not a billionaire because I don't own anything, plus this watch and my vest. And I thank God for that grace. I thank God for that grace. I'm not a billionaire, but New Life is trying to do what it can. The podium I said there were many, but
Yes, yes.
the podium used to give prophecies on things like elections, who will win. This one is all over the world, but what matters is the political condition and the environment in a certain country. It can inflame, it can explode or cause political explosion.
Yes.
After the election, when somebody gives that prophecy. I think this one should be guided by the preachers themselves and see, when you give such a prophecy, the aftermath, what happens next? So wisdom is required on how we give our prophecies depending on the political situation of a country.
Yes.
Because even if you don't do it in Kenya, a preacher, I can remember when did we hold our election? Last year.
Yes, yeah.
Before our election, even a preacher from outside Kenya came and he put on the flag of Kenya and he said, this will become the president of Kenya. So when we handle this, sobriety and carefulness, what is the political environment of this country? So that we don't ban the country tomorrow. That's what we require. You attended the burials of Shakahola victims, not from, okay? And Honorable Senator, a good senator in our country, and I thank God for his contribution, immense contribution towards the development of our country and the governance, saying it is presumed your attendance to those burials. I've put it clear, I've never attended.
Yes.
And when we talk about this boy, Mangi, if Mangi said, Chair, Pastor Ezekiel presided over the burial of my father, because when that person was dying and being buried and he said Pastor Ezekiel presided, Mangi was there. Mangi was a witness. Mangi has never talked about Pastor Ezekiel. Why should we drag his name in a place where even a young boy who cannot be coached because of emotion did not mention him, and then I or someone says, you, it is as if you are against him or provoking his anger. But I will put it this way. I would desire if Mangi could mention, I witnessed Ezekiel burying my father. That one is very important. And let us not do things or say things that will hurt those who are our brothers and their victims, or make people think that, oh, it is true, he was there. Because we are honorable members and we are dealing with brothers who are still going through agony, pain, and suffering, and psychological and emotional torture. I did not do that, and I will never do that, and I pray it never happens to anybody or for anybody.
Yes.
The leader who came, I said I will always say the truth, and I will say the truth, who visited our church compound. Honorable Raila Odinga visited our church compound.
Yes.
He was from Shakahola. That's how he put it to me. And I was requested, Pastor, Honorable Raila Odinga is from Shakahola, and he would like to see your church because you've been mentioned. I called him at the lawyers. I called them. I asked them, what should I do? And I called my spiritual father, because I believe there is somebody who is above you spiritually, and even in matters law, they should guide me. They told me, Pastor, the lawyers, when he comes, we must be there, so that you don't and he doesn't talk about anything about this issue. And my spiritual father told me, if you tell him not to come, it means you are hiding something. So allow him to come, but follow the rules of the court. So I said, because I have nothing to hide, sir, just come. He came, and I took him everywhere. And he was there. Even when we were talking, he was there. And why should we cry about maybe a leader who saw it good to verify the difference between Shakahola and New Life, and some of us who are mandated to verify that refuse to come, and we punish a leader who decided to come even without invitation? We invited those who were appointed by His Excellency the President to verify this. They refused. To make matters worse, some of them are our spiritual fathers. If you talk about your spiritual son in the gospel and you say, I want to go there, then a political leader says, I have a responsibility, I have a following, I want to know whether you are right or wrong. Why should I tell him not to come? I'm still requesting, even now, that our leaders attend and come. So I could not deny him that opportunity. If I did, I think the Honorable Senator would have asked me, why did you stop that leader from coming? What were you hiding? And that is why I allowed him through their advice and his advice for clarity and openness.
Okay, next.
I didn't invite him. And no politics with him.
Point of order, Chair.
Allow him to make progress.
It's progress still. You know, this issue came previously as an issue of association with leaders.
No, political affiliation.
Political affiliation, that's what
and he said he doesn't belong to any.
And I was just trying to clarify that. And remember, he also said that one of his highlight moments in his life is when he organized for Kasarani, Crusade, which was his biggest. And that Kasarani, there were also other leaders, too, who were involved. Could you also clarify, in context of the same, how that came about?
Thank you, Chair, for permitting that.
Okay.
The honorable leader who came, Her Excellency, the Second Lady, Mrs. Regadi, she is a spiritual sister to me. I will never deny that.
Yes.
He is a father to me. He is a father to her. When she comes to attend my crusade, and she says, Pastor, can I greet them? Yes, she has never mentioned anything political. She talks about God. So if I tell her, don't come, it means I'm affiliated either to the opposite party. And she comes from another party. That is why I say, no politics on our altar.
Yes.
And there will never be. Okay. That is what we do. In our church, I would dare ask anybody to mention.
I think, Chair, the witness, we are satisfied with that explanation.
Yes, so let's make progress.
Thank you, Chair.
Let's make progress. Maybe you can give short answers.
I will.
You can see the mood of the House is now tired.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. Okay. The registration status of our certificate. With speed, the certificate...
you already answered that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any threat from people known to you or unknown to you? I don't think. Okay. And I don't think I've mentioned that.
Next.
We are very friendly people. Maybe only the roadblocks that were put there. Number 11, when sick people comes to our church, I think I've dealt on that.
Yes.
The relationship between Times TV and New Life TV, I think I touched on that.
Yes.
And I'm being reminded, which is true. I saw a certain TV station written Times TV. I don't know whether it is the same Times TV. And when it was reinstated, who investigated it? What was the verdict? And why? How was it allowed to be back on air? I saw something like that. Are you signatory to any bank account? I need to be a signatory to the church bank account. How can you lead a church without being a signatory? What if the money is mismanaged, who was called and who has the vision of the ministry? Yes, I am. Are you part of the directors of these companies? We don't have companies belonging to Ezekiel. We have church hotel belonging to church. We have the school belonging to church. Am I part of the signatories? Yes. Who conceived the vision of the school? How can you conceive the vision of a country like the late President Kenyatta, then you don't become part of the cabinet of that government? So it means it was not your vision. And that is the only way to regulate and check, institute checks and balances on how those who manage those institutions can manage them properly. So I am one.
Yes.
Do you have personal wealth? I stated none.
Yes.
Maybe cuckoo.
Yes.
Have you been subjected to lifestyle audit? I would request that to be done tomorrow.
Okay.
Regulation of churches, we worked on that.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. And
Well,
without forgetting, please, Your Honor, if it is possible to commit the committee in this, that you would come to new life, please, I will be the happiest person, and my father will be happy.
Okay, so we have had requests, like I've said, from the DCI and now from you. We just have to make arrangements, and we'll communicate if the time and capacities allow us. The meeting today, I want to thank you, Pastor Ezekiel, for all the information you have given us, and I wish you well. We will take some of your recommendations and all the issues that you have raised with us, and we really want to say thank you. We wanted to release Pastor Ezekiel, but we had summoned here the chief government pathologist. We had summoned the transferred security officers. So we want to make a statement about those, a very brief one, before, after we release Pastor Ezekiel. We have a small presser there to address that with my colleagues. I didn't want to stand without my colleagues. So, Pastor Ezekiel, thank you very much. You have something to say?
Yes, Your Chair.
Yes.
I think, if I am allowed, just 1 minute or 30 seconds.
Yes.
To bless this honorable house with a prayer.
Yes, by the way, the rules of this house, we always open with prayer. So prayer is not anything difficult for us. I think we have no objection to that. Yeah. Not the advice we are getting here is that not in the chamber. Maybe afterwards we can do the prayer. But thank you for the offer. So thank you for the offer of the prayer. And then, by the way, I'm being reminded here by Senator Boni that we always have pastors and other leaders who come to pray for us when we have opening of the parliament. So maybe Senate will consider to also call you at that time. Otherwise, the meeting stands adjourned. Then press, we can speak briefly out there. Honorable members, let us address the press together. Thank you very much.
Excuse me. Boss. Boss. Uruko.
Wanataka umsindikize alafu aruke.
Oh, sawa sawa.
Sasa ni mzuri.